And we're live on the twitch.tv/the Xisuma doing a bonus spoiler stream. So, spoiler alert! Oh, God, ruined that next episode of Hermitcraft. Look, listen here, y'all. Music today provided by Music Man. Beautiful new record called Mending, available on Spotify. I've got the MP3s right here so we can enjoy it while we stream. I didn't have time to tag them and name them all and stuff like that, so there's no thing in the bottom corner of the stream. So if at any point today, I mean, because people are just tuning in because we're getting started, I'm literally speaking to everyone on the second channel. So, you know, to all of y'all over there, if you're like, dang, what's this amazing music? Now you know it's the Music Man. And welcome to all the peeps in the chat tuning in. Bonus stream, right? No Minecraft 1.19.1. Therefore, what was I going to do? Well, I really just wanted to crack on with what I was doing right here, so I thought, let's just do a spoiler stream, you know? Gonna throw some junk in Corralis's shulker boxes over here, of which I've borrowed a couple, might I add, because I've forgotten to prepare properly, really, for this project. Right, it would appear that I might be the victim of throwing away too many arrows. Did I just put some in here? Because I've destroyed all of what used to be here. Actually, isn't that full of junk? Ha! Ha! All is not lost. Okay. And the redstone is good. Right, so we've got this, we've got that. Got those. Probably need some more food and some more fireworks. Which one's got the fireworks in? Which one's got the food in? I think, is that food in there? Anyway, we've got a noise in the ear. First of the day, it's Scooter with the Prime subscription. Thank you so much, my dude. Also, Virtus426 on Patreon. Thank you for becoming a patron. If you're there listening, appreciate it ever so much. Hope you enjoy playing on our Let's Play Minecraft Together 3 server, which we toured just a couple of days ago. If you want to see the tour, it's on the second channel. Okay, so I just need to pack all of this away, really. 2 and a 4, 5 and a 12. Grab that too. Can leave these here for a minute. Just need to go grab some building materials. Are we using up old blocks so they don't spoil? We'll be using some blocks. 15 fine. Thank you for 10 months. Appreciate it, my dude. Hope you're enjoying the stream. I eat spoilers for breakfast. Says Goopy. I don't even know what that means. Goopy says, just ran out of videos to watch while working. Surprise stream. To the rescue. Awesome. Good timing, I guess. So we're walking down the old tunnel. I thought I'd walk down here to see how this all hooks up to the new tunnel. Is this the new tunnel over here then? Holes137, thank you ever so much for 8 months. Listening to your stream while packing. We brought a house, finally. Have a good stream, mate. Awesome, congratulations. I have started very tentatively looking at a new place to live myself. Seen a couple of properties so far. Going to see some more soon. I mean, I'm not making, like, straight-up plans to move. We went way past where this thing is. Also, I feel like it needs little, like, hatches for flying in when you come towards this part of the Nether, you know? When you're flying around, you're like, dang, how do I get back in the hub? Adam Fire UK, thank you for 6 months, my dude. Appreciate it. Hull says, good luck on your journey. Thank you, yeah. It'll be an interesting one. It's like a big decision, isn't it? And where I want to move to, it'll be for the long run. I've been, you know, thinking about all the things that I want. Like, when I moved to this house, it was about getting out and, like, living on my own. And now it's going to be about finding the right location for, like, everything I want to have in the future. One of those things might be a sauna. Might get a sauna installed. I was very surprised at how not costly they are. Although there's probably, like, running costs and stuff that I haven't thought of. Tuck 930, thank you so much for 7 months. Gooby C, thank you for 2 months of the Prime. 4Girl96, 27 months right there, appreciate it. Somebody says, oh, X is moving. I'm not looking with the plan to move right now. I'm looking because I know that at some point I'm going to, like, you know, I need to start taking the steps towards that. Now, this means if something comes up and it's like, oh my god, this is the perfect property, then I'll assess and maybe make that move. Because on one hand, I feel like I could have moved already. On the other hand, I feel like I could stay here a little bit longer. Really, I should just be looking, getting an idea, and then, you know, when I find the thing that's right, I'm ready to move, essentially. Is kind of how I'm approaching it. What do I want here? Just going to probably grab a whole bunch of stuff. You know, that's probably it. That's probably all I need is like the one chest's worth. Pretty sure I'm not going to need more than that. If I do, we'll take another trip back here. Now, as for... I did just have a flick... Oh, I know where I need to look. Okay. Sally Ann, 123, 79 months of support. Thank you so much. DNRA, thank you. Oh, wait. Do not read out loud. Here's me with the abbreviation, like... Let's just quickly breeze through that, you know? That super important abbreviation there. DNRA, that couldn't be anything bad, could it? No. No. Then my brain was like, wait, X, you're an idiot. You should probably figure out what that means. And then my brain looked at the message again, was about to read it out loud. Oh, gosh. Jeez, okay, I'm going to read this message. All right, I won't comment on that, but I send you my hugs, my friend. I send you my hugs, and I will do my best to be around, doing what I do. And now I'm distracted. Okay, that's what I want. All right. Okay. Uriel says, are you the type with a lot of stuff to move, or are you a minimalist which can move effortless? You know, I am a minimalist, but I do have a lot of stuff to move, right? Like equipment, training equipment, computer equipment. What I don't have is a lot of decorations, trinkets, collectible things. I don't have shelves, bookshelves full of stuff. I don't have posters, pictures up on the wall. I like my rooms clean and minimal. My office is a bit of an exception because I've got a few posters up in here and like YouTube plaques, but I just like minimalism, like cleanness. But there is stuff like, you know, kitchens full of utilities, gym equipment lying around all over the place. I got a few cupboards full of odds and sods, but I mean, what's in my bedroom? A drawer full of clothes, a bed. Yeah, there really isn't a lot. Like, a lot of work compared to, you know, I just think of other houses. Like, you know, your average house, there's just so much more. People like a lot of character in their homes, I've noticed. You know, pictures, trinkets and stuff up on the walls. I can see the appeal of it. To me, I'm really drawn to minimal aesthetics. It just like feels like peace of mind. I can't imagine a sauna in a house in Britain no matter how hard I try, says Gavin Buck. Well, here's the thing, like, why would that be? Because saunas tend to get used a lot in cold countries, funny enough. Colder than Britain, usually. Anyway, we're back over here. There was a sign. Yeah, we don't need that there this moment in time. In today's stream, we're going to have some interesting talky topics. I had 2 to talk about. They're going to be fun. So stick around for that. Retro Mum 702, 12 months of support. We kind of just need to get through a little bit of figuring stuff out. So I won't give you the full rundown on this, but essentially it's for moving items through the Nether. One of the first things that I have to do is kind of test this. Okay, I'm going to need more than that. There we go. I need to get this thing up to about 23-ish blocks, I think. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Did you hear that Ghast? Like, that's the thing that terrifies me at the moment. So when I step out here, everything's going to go wrong. I know it. I feel like it's stalking me. Oh, stop your wimping, Ghast. The Ghast's wimp? I think Ghast's wimp, you know. I'd call that a wimp. Xisuma says Koshi question mark. That is my one of my channels, yes. Question mark. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Right. That is a distance that I need to know. And then this also... actually, what I'm building here out of the stone is kind of temporary. But it's essential because we have to do a test, first of all. Right. I hope this thing doesn't blow up my ice, because I don't have a crazy amount of it. Stop your groaning. Just trust me, I know what I'm doing. Famous last words, right? We're doing a little test, and it's going to teach us a lot. Right, I need to grab that again. Let's make some of these stone bricks. Because I also need to hop up here. Right, I do have a hot cup of tea, by the way. It's been 11 minutes. I think, you know, don't let me forget. And if I forget, I get to blame you, right? That's how this works. I should really double up the test and put something on both sides. So, there's some stone on that side. Ah, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's fair enough, fair enough. I might have thought of that. I might have caught that one, but I didn't. So, it's not the end of the world, okay? Don't be putting dirt faces in my chat. Come on. I'm not a genius who considers every little thing. Yeah, right, anyway. Some on that side, and some on this side. Ah, those did not work properly, did they? I know that they didn't already, so we're going to have to run... Should you be there? I don't know how those ones got there. Let's try it again. Okay. So we've got the one side. Yep, that properly stuck. Then we got the other. I'm not sure that they did, again. Looked a bit flimsy, that. Okay, those definitely stuck. Right, and then they get shot. Sweet. That means this is full of stuff. Dang it, it's been picking up things. No! You're in the worst place! I hate you! God. Please. Ah! Oh, dude, I gotta shoot the fireball back. Oh no, this guy's gonna wreck me. Okay, really what I should do is just drop down here. There you go, that was easier. Oh, you know, I was hanging out here earlier and I didn't hear, like, anything from these ghasts. And now it's just like, oh, they're here now. Okay, I need to do this test multiple times, it looks like. Because I am not gathering the info that I need. This thing is not helpful. Yeah, take that out of the way. So yeah, this is like... This will all make sense later on. So we've got 2 items there. They definitely went down the sticky bit. 2 items here. We'll throw a 3rd one. Yeah, I kind of want all of them down there, but okay. Right, and they both just about got to the end. That's good to me. That's good for me. I won't make them go any further than that, I think. So let's double check the counting. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Part of me wants to make it just a tiny bit smaller so it runs on an odd. Just got a feeling that's the better way to do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Wow, this is just such a great location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I feel so safe out here. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Now, if my counting is all correct, which of course it would, there's no way I just made a mistake. If we go like this, we should be directly in line, yeah, with the beginning over there. That's terrific. Now, what I've got to do next is figure out the depth and then build a massive shell around all of this. So the best place for me to figure out the depth is probably around here. I'm going to need a few things. Right. Now, we talked about a cup of tea and we talked about noises in the ear. So Bear, 818, thank you for 10 months. Redstone makes my brain hurt, but you explained words good. Thank you, Bear. Thank you. I try my best. Puzzle Freck, thank you for 50 months with the sheesh. And Lucifer or Lucy in chat says, Xisuma, thanks for using my art as the thumbnail. I'm so happy right now. Thank you for the amazing fan art. I absolutely loved it. You know, when I put the videos up, I like to pick one out and as a way of sort of saying this is awesome. So thank you so much. For all the new peeps tuning in, since I last mentioned it, we got 200 more peeps, so 1,200 peeps tuning in. Be sure to hit the follow button if you ain't done so already. We've got a couple of interesting talky topics for later in the stream. We just got to finish sussing out the dimensions of where I put the redstone, and then we build a box and we'll have a chat. So that is the plan. Also, Skizzleman, did Impulse speak to you about a thing? I'm not going to say anything because a certain someone might be watching, but yeah, if not, hit up Impulse. Got a little something going on. I'm sure I'll explain everything. NFS Script says, I went to Fort Park the other day and everyone spoke like X. I want to go to Fort Park again. A funny story for you. Me and all my mates, when we were in sixth form college, jumped in the back of a car with some friends. There were multiple cars. There were multiple friends. And head on down to Fort Park. And I threw up on the way there because of car sickness. How funny is that? I would stick my head out the window and threw up. Everyone thought it was hilarious because we hadn't been on any roller coasters yet. I went on the roller coasters. I was fine on those. It was the car trip. I used to get really bad car sickness. It was another reason I didn't like driving for so long. And when I was there, my mates were cracking up because my reaction when I'm on a roller coaster, even though I'm loving it, is like I tense up. And like I grip really hard and my face just goes like into anger mode. And so we were getting off the rides and looking at the pictures of ourselves, and I would just look furiously angry, and they thought it was really funny. And I was like, well, I look angry, but I enjoyed it. Kelvandy, thank you ever so much for 12 months, a whole year. Appreciate it. NFS Crip says, isn't this the plot to Inbetweeners? There's probably some similarities. It's been a while since I watched that show. Classic show, by the way. Right, I'm just trying to chug through this tea, by the way, if you're wondering while I'm standing still. Mathau says, this isn't spoilers. I've seen this place in past streams. Trust me, this is all spoilers. I haven't streamed this before. It hasn't been in a video yet. Right, so what we got to do is grab some hoppers and some redstone and build item filters. That's not enough. Okay, I need my redstone chest. That would make a lot of sense to have that. Right, hoppers, comparators. I'm going to need a heck of a lot more of those. We might go back and craft some more. That'll be on the to-do list then. You need torches and dust and repeaters as well, actually. All the things. Most important of all, some blocks to put them on. Okay, so classic item filter is going to be on this side face. Oh yeah, you also need barrels. Dang. It's really like It's really weird, like me. I'm probably really weird is what I'm trying to say. I go to do like prep and think through all the things that I need, and I'm like, yeah, got this, got that. But somehow I don't manage to think everything through. It's like, I think prep is more like my brain doesn't know what to do and therefore thinks it's done everything. So I spent some time like prepping to get all the materials I needed. Seem to have completely spaced on the fact that I need a whole bunch of barrels over here. And I also need some of that wood for more chests later on. Anyway, barrels are important. Okay, so as I remember it, our first item filter will probably be... probably not a good idea to put it directly. It probably doesn't matter, actually. I think I'm going to leave 2 on each end. So this will go as far as to leave a gap of 2 at each end. Right? So we'll put a few here together so it makes sense. And y'all can let me know if I'm being a derp or anything. Maybe I'm missing something important. So you got that part. Yeah, that's good. Comparators. Redstone 1, redstone 2, redstone 3. Repeater goes on that block. So this is where I like to jump up and put the repeaters in. Yeah, this looks terrific. So at the front there, we also need that. Right, that's looking good. So that is an item filter almost built. And I think that's set up correctly. So let's give it a whirl. I can't remember how many items you put at the back now. But I'll get that corrected later. That's operating like it should. And it'll stop at a particular number. Because it's a filter. 5. 5 is the number. Anyway. Yeah. And it leaves one there. Cool. Alright, so I don't want to actually set any of that up right now. But that's what we're going to have a lot of in this area. Now, the reason that we have barrels is because there is ice above it. So then, we obviously want to have the most mega ridiculous storage system ever because it's Hermitcraft. I mean, it's kind of the rules these days, right? Go big or go home. I mean, what are we up to? Is this a peta? We're going to build a peta storage room, alright? That's what all the kids are talking about these days. They're like, Giga? Giga, that was last year. We want some peta storage now. Right, so where these barrels are, they're just there to allow us to have a hopper array, which we could have, but then this one becomes wasted, and also that torch then powers the next hopper. So by putting these chests over here, we don't do that, that's in the wrong spot. And the question is, how tall do we want this to be, right? So 3 is pretty lame. If we were to dig this out, you can see not very helpful. But might be able to use some of this over here to our advantage. If we're careful. Anyway, I think we'll hop into a creative world. Now, I'm doing all of my creative stuff in... Okay, I don't actually need that anymore. Yeah, no, I'm done with that. That's an old backup. Oh, that's... Oh, yes, I've completely moved my... Right, so I was going to say, I don't want to go into my test world. That's 1.19 now. But I've moved it. I didn't leave one here. Right, we've got noises in the ear from Blue Bottle 77 for 69 months. Hee hee ha ha. Right, Escape for 19. And gifting a sub to Uno Alali. Oh, I think I butchered that one. Thank you so much for supporting our community, Right Escape. Be sure to say thanks in the chat, Uno. And the Manku is here for 6 months. Thank you so much. We'll nip into this world. The other world, by the way, is something that Blaze shared with me, and we might build something later in the season. You'll see. Right, so in this world, this is kind of perfect. We can see... What can we see here? Right, if we, the player, stand here... But what if... Because this is going to be the place where all the farms go, we want that kind of like maximal infrastructure. So I think we might be able to put one more here. Yeah. So we're talking a stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, jeez, that's a lot. Oh, we're going to have to chop some trees later this stream, if we have the time. So we put in 3. The 4th would be there. Right? 5th. 6th. 7th. 8th. And then the floor is at that height. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is in that space. I got it correct. This is our floor. A brand new floor. And actually the real floor is going to be higher up, but this is going to be like the base of the whole area. And do I need to build it out of slabs? I think I might build this down here out of slabs. Right, now I think I'm ready to get started on doing all of this and having a waffle with all of you. But there'll be a few more points of measurement, I think, along the way. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Excellent. Yeah, put some things away, I guess. Things that we no longer need at this point in time. Right, and I do need a thing to chop it in half. Mercury Explorers, thank you for 20 months of support. That is amazing. 98 Harold, thank you for 2 months. Greatly appreciated. Part of me wants to build it out of that. I don't know why. I'm just going to stick with regular stone. I think it's one of those things, like, you need to get this box built, and then later on you'll go back and think, could have built it out another material, but we're going to build it big enough so it's not the decoration is the general idea. Alright, so 2 topics of discussion today. The second one is about a way in which the world might change. Forevermore. But actually, quite seriously, I heard something today. So I listened to this podcast called Through the Web with Togogo of Cold Fusion and his friend. I'm not sure what else his friend does online, but like that was my introduction to their podcast. And 2 super interesting things came up on it today. So one of them was this new phone called the Nothing Phone, and they were talking about how like this Nothing Phone is trying to come into the game and change the change the game of smartphones. But as they point out, as we all know, like smartphones are now kind of like, it feels like they're at their peak of development, let's say. Like after a certain amount of iterations, something tends to not change very much, like a car or like a telephone in your house, for example. They sort of reach a point where there isn't really much room to innovate anymore. And it feels like mobile phones have been at that point for a long time, right? Where, you know, the iPhone, I don't know when they started to feel like that, but the iPhone 10, 11, 12, whatever it's up to, it just feels like the same thing. Oh, what have we got? More camera lenses, some new software in it or something. It doesn't feel like a major thing anymore, right? Like some new phone is gonna break the mold and you've got to have it because it's got this new feature. But anyway, this company is trying to disrupt the market and bring in some new tech and all that kind of stuff. And the technology is like kind of like this would be cool on phones. But if it takes off, every other phone company, I believe, is going to very easily be able to integrate their one idea. As far as I understand it, the one idea is that your phone has like a bunch of LED lights built around the back of it that light up in sync with notifications, phone calls, text messages, these sorts of things. So, you know, you have multiple indicators, like you got the sound, you got the vibration, and then if you can't use either of those, you've got lights going off. And that to me sounds very good, very useful, but kind of like a thing anyone could just add. Like surely it wouldn't be too difficult to fit in some extra LEDs around the back and the edge of the phone. And it looks like they've gone for like this stylish arrangement of like a circle in the middle, a C in the corner, a dash in the other corner, and it's not really clear why it's like that. It feels like it's trying to create a mark, like an artistic mark of like, this is our thing and it looks like this. I was thinking, like, why not have the LEDs like all the way around the edge of the phone so you can sort of catch it from the front or the back. Just, it feels to me like it's something that's just going to be adopted by everyone else if it turns out to be a success, and it's going to be easy for them to adopt. Some of you are asking about similarities to other phones, like old Nokia phones. I'm not really like big on phone tech, so I don't know of an equivalent example, but I do remember that some phones have always on screens, and they'll leave, I think mine might be able to do it, and I turned it all off, but it can like leave little color lights on the phone, on the screen, so like, although you're not using it, the screen is black apart from a couple of pixels that are dedicated to letting you know if you got a notification. I think that's actually on my phone, and I just turned it off because I was like, I don't want to use my phone like that, I'm fine, I'm good. So yeah, some of you are saying that Samsung had it on their Galaxy S6. For a new company, looks sell really well. It generates a conversation and helps you stand out as opposed to numbers on a spec sheet, says Sour Glorfindel. Yeah, I guess so. I guess having that kind of look and offering something new visually is going to grab people's attention. But, you know, if you're trying to disrupt the mobile phone space, I mean, I'm not sure what their strategy is, right? Maybe they're not trying to invent something new. They're just trying to gain a market share. But it just looks like they've got an innovation that's very easily adoptable by everyone else. So like if they start taking market share, you know, the next iPhone would surely, they're going to just integrate some LEDs around the edges. It seems it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's as game changing as they want to make it out to be. And of course, like, they're going to do the whole hype marketing and make it out like it's a whole new thing, whereas really it's just like a bit of added convenience. Pretty smart convenience too. But it got me thinking, like, what is the next big thing? Because as I made a couple of examples of earlier, and it's probably really easy to look around and just spot objects like keyboards. They probably went through quite a few iterations early on, and now they've sort of settled on a layout and a design that people are used for, and it's hard to imagine someone coming in, redesigning the keyboard or the mouse. Game controllers are kind of similar, right? PlayStation 1's game controller was like more ergonomic, and wow, this was a real game changer. They introduced the DualShock and the analog sticks that hadn't been done before. And then like more sensory feedback, I think, was the third generation of those. And then with the PlayStation 4, it was kind of like more the same with like more sensitivity. The rumble was a little more refined, but it was like all the concepts were the same. You had this like big square screen-like button on it that I don't play a lot of PlayStation games. In fact, all I do with my PlayStation these days is use it to watch YouTube videos when I'm on the treadmill. But when I did play a few games on it, I never encountered a use for it. So, you know, Dow Dax in chat says Xbox controller is better than PlayStation controller. I'm not going to get into any Xbox versus PlayStation because it tends to be like more of an emotional debate. People attach their identities to these brands, which I do not do. So for me, like, I have an Xbox controller and a PlayStation. I think I prefer a PlayStation. I'm more used to it. It's what I grew up with, so I have some attachment to that. But both of them are absolutely fine. The Xbox obviously has like better compatibility with Windows, but I mean, you can barely notice it. One thing that was great about the Xbox controller is it let me play Diablo 2 with a controller, and that was a really great experience. That game was actually, I think, better to play with a controller than keyboard and mouse from an RSI perspective, because clicking away on your mouse in Diablo gives you some serious RSI. But yeah, we need more buttons. We always need more buttons. Well, you know, that's the thing. If you put more and more buttons on a controller, at some point it will start to be a bit much for your brain to like remember where everything is. So for the average person, like, I think the form factor they currently have with the amount of buttons is probably like pretty well adapt to what we can manage. So yeah, like the point being is that like when you go back to like something being fresh and new, there's lots of room for innovation, and then it tends to end up kind of finding all of its quirks and refining to something really well polished where, you know, when they bring out the PlayStation 6 controller, they're just going to be hyping the same things again, you know. Oh, the rumble's even better, and, you know, maybe they'll stumble on one or two like really innovative ideas, but for the most part people want to use the controller the same way. So if you were to like bring out something that looked totally different, like maybe like the N64, you know, it would be like, well, this probably ain't going to change the game because people are going to want to use the controller the way they know. So long-winded point here. Oh, let's see what Uriel has to say. Xisuma, sometimes that's really smart. Too often companies keep changing things and breaking stuff, disorienting users and just generating confusion. Once something is found to be working, it's okay to stick with it and just do refinements instead of big changes. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And I think it's the natural course of innovation is it ends up at that. You could say that sometimes that blinds you to doing things differently, and there might be something, you know, really smart we could do that we're just not looking at. But, you know, that's that, I guess. When it comes to smartphones, like, the mobile phone revolution started with really small screens, no colours, just black and white. And, you know, we've seen just so much innovation to the point where it's now a device that is practically essential. And it's also a portable computer at the same time, right? Like, I think when they were making those first mobile phones back in the 90s, they probably weren't thinking everyone's going to have one of these one day and it's going to be absolutely essential and you can do everything on it. You know, all communication, browsing the internet, watching videos, streaming, casting, like, these phones do so much now. They're all our own personal little, obviously, their own little personal tracking devices. Tracking? What? Data collection? What's that? Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, I'm going on a bit of a long-winded tangent here. To bring the point home, now we can look at mobile phones and see how much they've changed everything, but it feels like they've sort of reached their potential in my mind. So, like, what's next? And I think it's not going to be mobile phones, it's going to be something else that comes along and changes the world. For example, let's say Tesla have had troubles getting their autopilot stuff going. But let's say, you know, best case scenario, a company like Tesla figures out how to get the automatic driving working, and then everyone who owns a Tesla is then also a taxi service, right? Your car, when it's parked in your garage, goes out and acts like a taxi, and then all of a sudden transport could start to change quite rapidly. We can electrify, we can you know, mass transit would look different. Like, fleets of cars in car parks wouldn't be there anymore. Cars would always be getting used, driving themselves around to pick people up who need to use them. Like, it's an interesting example because cars have, like, obviously existed for a long time and are a product that has been, like, innovated to the point where, you know, the last 10 years of cars, they're pretty much just doing the exact same thing, just a little bit more efficiently each time. But, you know, there's like an idea that could bring forth a revolution, but there might be like other appliances or technology that come along, and then it would go through that process. It would be something new and fresh, and then it would get innovated to the point where it just starts to become fractional improvements over time. So I think that mobile phones have, like, you know, sort of come around to peak potential, really. I imagine maybe, like, they'll encroach a little bit more on the space of computers and what computers can do still. Wet Enderman says, I disagree. Mobile phones are focused on innovating batteries and cameras, which not everyone cares about much. Yeah, I guess they do push along battery innovation a little bit, but like think about what the two things you've just said are. Like, how does more megapixels revolutionize the world? Battery life does, if we can get something like graphene batteries working. You know, they're like recyclable, environmentally friendly, ones that don't need cooling, to replace lithium. But I'm kind of getting more at the core of how we use it and like what it does for us. So that's like, you know, battery innovations are kind of like anything that uses a battery can benefit from that. Chevy boats use phone batteries. That's true. Yeah, they do. But I guess what I'm getting at is like, what's the new big thing that's going to come along and like change the world? Some people think it's going to be the metaverse and virtual reality. I don't think it's going to be mobile phones. I think, like I said, mobile phones will probably continue to encroach on whatever computers can do. So it might be that in like 5 or 10 years, your mobile phone will be good enough to stream, like live stream, you know? Maybe you're like just casting it to television, and all the streaming software is able to run on the phone and send it to Twitch, and it's wirelessly connecting to an Xbox. So you know, that's what I imagine they'll slowly converge on, is being able to do the things that computers are doing. Kind of on the go. Happy Cat 1928, thank you for 7 months. Bit Sandwich, thank you for the Prime subscription, and Trooper Joe, the one, the only, 36 months. Thank you so much, my dude. Thank you so much. Burp in there. Curl says, developing products as per the design and thinking process that is so popular now among the startup communities looks to identify people's mindsets, jobs, pains and gains. Often it's about finding a new thing just for the sake of it, but to identify a need a user has or a painkiller to a user pain with a specific product. The question here would be, what is a pain that users have with smartphones? What does annoy us, or what do we miss when using one? When looking at the Nothing phone, the same question can be applied and we can see it solves anything. That last sentence, when we look at the Nothing phone, the same question applies and we can see it solves anything. I don't know what you mean by anything. Like, if I were to frame it through that lens of like pain and gain, if I was someone who vibrate and sound didn't work very well. For me, I don't have sound on my phone because, you know, I might be recording. Which actually, you know, I don't spend that much time streaming and recording in my day. I could probably leave the sounds on, but I sort of like the silent nature of it, where I choose when to look at it because I don't want to get like notifications popping into my head all day. If someone rings me, it buzzes, but it buzzes my Fitbit, not the phone. So I have that. Now, if you were let's say audibly impaired, you know what I mean, deaf, and for some reason vibrate wasn't useful, then that could be like really great to have those visual cues on a phone. So like I said earlier, I think it's like a great idea, but like it just feels like something every phone can easily incorporate. So I don't know what you mean by saying it can solve anything. Yeah, I'm looking in chat for some opinions. Xisuma, fun fact, cars have become safer and safer, and also thanks to automation they have a huge impact on organ availability for donations, so hopefully we'll solve that issue in parallel. Yeah, maybe I'm being a bit narrow-sighted on how I talk about these things, right? Like maybe a car isn't a good example. But something like a phone, a landline phone, feels like, you know, there's no room for innovation there, whereas cars do continuously get safer and increase efficiency. I wasn't exactly trying to say they don't. It was just more so that the car is still the car, right? And if it continues to iterate on certain things, like smartphones get better batteries, better cameras, you know, the core of what the phone does, it's not a revolution that a battery lasts a bit longer each time it does. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's just like in terms of like what's the revolution? What's the next revolutionary thing gonna be, right? feels like this this mobile phone idea, this nothing phone, isn't it. It's just, hey, they've got a good idea that every phone will probably end up having if it takes off. Is how it seems to me. If it solves anything. So when looking at the nothing phone, the same question can be applied, and we see if it solves anything. Oh, so it's more like a wait and see what happens. Yeah, it will solve problems for some people, like I said, you know. Anyway, I guess this kind of leads us into the next question, because, again, on the podcast that I watched, they brought up something, a TikTok that went around, and, like, you could tell the two of them were sort of, like, musing on the idea of, like, this really could be, like, a massive deal, what they're talking about. This could just be, like, some sort of silent change that society goes through without realizing it, and then one day it's like, oh, this is all different now. They were talking about it through the lens of, like, a potential Google killer, right? So Google is an absolute juggernaut, and it's hard to see how Google could fail and disappear. But this thing that they talk about is kind of makes you think, like, oh, that's really, really interesting. So there's this TikTok going around. I get the impression it went a little bit viral. And this woman is just walking along talking to her TikTok audience, and basically saying that she doesn't use Google anymore. All she does is search for things on TikTok, right? Now, I don't use TikTok. I'm on TikTok if you want to follow me. You know, look below the stream or the VOD on the second channel. You know, go to one of my places, my website, whatever. Find a link. I'm on TikTok. Clips from my stream get uploaded there. I don't want to use TikTok because I don't like the way you log in and it just starts feeding you video. It feels very unintentional use, and I like to try and use my attention and focus intentionally. I want to be in tune with, like, what I choose to spend my time with and be mindful about it. That's why like I don't have notifications buzzing on my phone. Like, when I pick up and look at my phone to do something, maybe sometimes that is to check, but I don't want things distracting me all the time. I don't use social media a lot. I mean, I'm on Twitter, but, like, I don't really use it much for more than keeping track of Minecraft stuff and communicating. I like for my attention to go where I want it to go. And TikTok, to me, feels like it's sort of exploiting your response to this kind of, like, here's something new, and here's something new, and here's something else that's new, right? But this lady talked about something that was, I could immediately see, yeah, that's really, really useful. And she's saying that she doesn't use Google, she goes onto TikTok, right? If you go onto TikTok and you look for something like a recipe, there's lots of 15-minute videos that get straight to the point, because that's the nature of TikTok. TikTok is all about capturing your attention and keeping it focused, razor sharp. So YouTube sort of brought in, well, I say YouTube brought this concept in, it's not true. I learned about it through YouTube. But websites are trying to keep you maximally engaged on their platform. And that's kind of like the way that different platforms compete with one another, like Facebook, Instagram. It's about keeping your attention on there so that you stay and that they can continue to serve you ads. So in order to make that work, they need to foster the things that keep your attention. So, for example, that's creators like myself. We need to have the tools, the know-how, the things that we need in order to keep you on the platform so that you can be served ads. That's happening right now on Twitch. That's the model. And what TikTok has done is very much hypercharge that. It's about everyone can upload. It's very simple to create content, but it's really short. And the thing with short content of that nature is it's kind of like, it doesn't have to be high quality. It can be very novel and sort of attention grabbing, because, you know, it doesn't need to hold your attention for long. They'll serve you up another video in just a moment. And because of the way, like, our brains are wired for, like, oh, new thing, oh, here's another new thing, that keeps you locked in. So this then means that the content that's on there is going to be, or let's say the people creating content on there. Oh, that's interesting. This is not big enough because I need room for the filters. Glad I guess spotted that before I finished building everything. Oh, there's always something. So we need to go out an additional, let's say, 1, 2, and then the wall there. Let's go out 3 extra blocks in all direction then. Alright, more slabs need to be placed. Okay, so when you create this system of of how TikTok works, it's like a feedback loop with the creators. Let's say YouTube tomorrow decided that long videos are going to get paid double, right? Every creator is now incentivized to create longer content, and it could create a feedback loop. You know, that means people watch for longer. It's probably not a great example, but you know, you kind of get my point. These things go both ways. So on TikTok now, if you want to share information, if you want to get something across, your content needs to be quick, to the point, and snappy, because that's the nature of the platform. So this woman is talking about how she doesn't Google anything anymore. If she goes onto TikTok, she'll get a quick 15-minute video of someone getting to the point. And I happen to have had a recent comparison of looking up some recipes. I wanted to cook a motor paneer, and I had to go through several websites, and you know, they didn't put the list of ingredients up front. They didn't put the instructions straight away. They had the big backstory. You got to read through, where does it come from? Which is, you know, some people want that, right? And if you're on TikTok, maybe you'd search where does motor paneer come from. But you know, basically their model is like, we need to keep people on our website so these articles get fluffed up with lots of extra information. It's the same when you look for something like, where can I watch Stranger Things? I searched for something that I wanted to watch recently. What streaming platform on it is my question. If I'd have done that on TikTok, some creator can make a snappy 10 to 15 second video telling you exactly where and when. But if you go to a website for a search engine like Google, these websites are trying to keep you on there, so you have to read all the fluff. Stranger Things is this, Stranger Things are that. People have said this about it. It's been running for this many years. Keep scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Eventually, you get to the bit where they're like, oh, it's coming out on this day on this platform. You're like, finally, thank you. Goodness me. Takes a while to get there. So, you know, we've got a generation growing up on a different attention span, and they're able to find information at a faster pace on it. This could be this massive game changer for Google. They might find that TikTok starts becoming the place to go to get information. And I gotta say, it made me want to get the app and maybe try searching for something on it and just see what the experience is like. Next time I think to search, you know, when is that show that I like? What's the release date? I know that I'm gonna have to go on a couple of websites and like browse through a whole bunch of like faff that they've written because they've got adverts in between every little paragraph, and finally get to the bottom of the page and find out when. Or on TikTok, someone just tells you, right? And it's got that crazy algorithm where it finds exactly what you want to know and you get there quick. And that, to me, that could be a massive game changer. Like, the search engine was, you know, incredible. Go on the internet and search for things. Wow, you can read through articles and find so much information. But now we've got algorithms that can razor wire the information that we want right to us, and people are creating content, you know, that are 10 to 15 seconds long. You could press Control F to search for a word, says Sagittarius. That is true, but on a page like that, I'm not sure what the best keyword to be searching for is. Curls of Doom says TikTok won't be going far if they don't start treating their content creators better. I'm not sure about that. Like, I've been on YouTube a long time and seen so many dramas and been through so many things about content creators not being treated right, and you know, the YouTube union and all these other sorts of things coming along. And it feels like these platforms are so big and that anyone can jump into the space. Means if someone's upset somewhere and doesn't want to make content, it will get filled by someone else so quick. Anyway, I've got some noises to it and to read and some water to drink. Relic24, thank you for gifting subs to Killed by Cheese. Satyr Bear Puncher, Rice Master, Nitsabub, Dido Chokinetic. Y'all been gifted subs, be sure to say thanks in the chat. And Urisare Major 2, thank you ever so much for your Prime subscription, greatly appreciated. I find TikToks unhelpful because all of the ones I've tried to get info from just want to get you to click on part 2 and 3 and so on. It becomes a treasure hunt. Ah, well, you have an insight there for an experience I haven't had. Based on what this woman was saying, it sounded to me like it was, you know, kind of like great was the way she described it. You know, you can search and find for this thing. But the other thing about that is that their algorithm is known for like being very good at giving people the information they want, or at least keeping their attention. If people start doing the click 1, 2, and 3 on all the videos, and they start doing the thing like the website does, doesn't that get phased out by the people that can do the more precise information, right, and give you exactly what you want? So, the way I saw it was just like, this could be one of those things that very silently happens, and then all of a sudden you realise the game's changed. Those websites that rely on search engines and they pad out the information with paragraphs of writing, I'm not sure how many people like sit and read everything, but it really does feel like they hide the information you want from the search engine in the article to get you browsing over the ads, and that's their business model. And you know, if a business model is threatened by something better and smarter, then it can disappear before you know it. And what's better and smarter than having a whole generation of people who want to make it on a platform like TikTok that serves up very precise, you know, content that's tuned to what you want and watch on it. It just seemed to like click in my head that like, wow, yeah, that could absolutely change everything, right? And if TikTok realized this, they could make moves to make it more so, right? Like they could teach their creators, because if you're a creator on a platform like YouTube, there are lots of tools and things available for you. The platform, at least YouTube does, creates content to help you become better at doing, you know, whatever it is they're aiming for you to do. Connect with your audience, these sorts of things. They help you with that. TikTok could run a strategy to encroach on the Google search engine, right? And people start searching on TikTok. Right, now, I'm going to just set my desk off. I've been standing. I want to sit for the last bit of the stream. Is that okay? Oh, no one better be messing with my desk. Oh, evil. Evil X, what are you up to? You and your shenanigans. God, I've got a headache now. Oh, oh, good God. Oh. I love the response in chat. Finally, you got it. Wonderful. Hey, all props to the Puka. That's all the Puka's work right there. I'm just like, hey, Puka, desk hits me on the head. Bam, there you go. It's done. Wonderful stuff. Right, 1, 2, 3 blocks out is what we said. Oh, not another one. You devil in the distance. Be gone. It's gonna it's gonna annoy me. Pyro, Lily Tails, thank you ever so much for 3 months of support. Very much appreciated. So, yeah, I think I made my point clear. Like, I obviously probably need to actually like research this more, but sort of based on how this woman was talking about how easy it was to search for stuff, if I take that at face value, it makes sense that this could be like a massive game changer for Google. If people start using TikTok to search for things because it's quicker and more convenient, it could be a big shift. It could also be a bit of like a quick take, right? Like when you start to think things through, it's like, what can't TikTok do? Like some like reading a Wikipedia article. I mean, I know I could go straight to Wikipedia, but like, that's a good point, actually. Like, I use Google to get to Wikipedia for some reason, but I've identified an area where I can see, hey, here's this annoying thing that search engines does, and this other thing could do it better. But there's probably like a fair bit of stuff where TikTok wouldn't. Like, I'm just starting to think. I search for album covers so I can post them to my music blog, and sometimes I'll have a little read of like what other people have said about records and stuff. So that might not be something I want to do on TikTok particularly. TikTok is still very limited in the type of content, says Giant Mushroom. I think that statement requires a bit more clarification, because what you can experience on TikTok, as I understand it, is massive and broad. Like, but it tends to be content that isn't deep. It tends to be like shallow, quick, novel type of content, right? Like, it's not a place to go and deeply learn and understand something, or like listen to someone's essay, or have like a deep explanation of something. I mean, I'm referring to the sort of educational topics I like to watch on YouTube. It tends to be like more novel stuff, at least in the way that I've learned about it, right? Here's the thing, YouTube is like absolutely massive, and so if TikTok is competing with it, like, the amount of content on there will just be enormous, and it will go into all kinds of strange places. And I've seen so many weird examples of just bizarre niche content on TikTok. I think to say it's limited is gonna perhaps, like, maybe you mean it's like limited in long, like there's no long form content, which it's not really trying to create. But like TikTok offers up just some weird niche stuff. It's one of the, I think it's one of the reasons why people are so engrossed with it, is because you can just find stuff there that's like so particular to your interests because of the way its algorithm works. That's my impression of it. Yeah, I feel like maybe it'd be smarter for me to actually like use it to comment on it more, but I'm deadly scared of getting engrossed on something like that. If TikTok were to become a popular search engine, I think it's more likely that the app would learn to hide your answer under a couple of videos before you getting what you want. That way they can get you to look at ads for each of your searches. Yeah, what you got to think here is, right, is the user experience. Like, if that becomes their strategy, then it might stop the thing that might make it work from happening, right? This is what sounded so fascinating to me, is that it made sense how this thing could serve you up a short video with the answer you're looking for. Why do I get the feeling... Yeah, I'm supposed to be going out 3 blocks. Did I actually do that correctly over there? 2 blocks that way. I feel like I went out further in this corner. I did. No, I didn't. Huh. Let's count that and then just do the corners from this example again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we can go over here and do this one. 1, 2, 3. Looks good on this front. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and I think I just managed to confuse myself over there. So 4, 5, 6. Nothing new if you've been watching my streams for a while, right? Okay, anyway, I've said a lot. Let's have a listen to what all you've got to say. To be honest, how many people are actually going to search for things, knowledge, instead of just staring at clips of cats and dogs? I mean, come on. Like, yes, the platform allows you to look at cats and dogs, but, you know, that's not the only thing you do all day, right? If all of a sudden you need to do something like, oh, how long do I need to put this type of food in the microwave for till it's cooked? Or like, how long do I need to boil those potatoes? Do a search for them. I've definitely looked up stuff like that on Google before and had to click through a couple of articles to find an answer, and it's just like, please don't pad out, you know, the history of potatoes into how long should I boil them for. TikTok is banned in India and China, says Mako Rayo. Well, I know it's not banned in China because, like, that's the country it's from, right? And they use it to serve up, like, it's heavily regulated over there. Like they reward creators that create educational content. And it's a different experience, but no, it's not banned in China. YouTube has YouTube Shorts, so why TikTok? I think YouTube is the elite platform. TikTok's algorithm is superior, it would seem. I mean, again, I'm speaking from listening to like other people talk about it a lot, but people say that like the TikTok algorithm is insane. It knows how to put a video in front of you where you're like, whoa, what's this? And you'll just sit there and watch for hours. I'm not sure YouTube's quite there yet, and that's really like the killer app is the algorithm. So YouTube are playing catch up with TikTok, and so Shorts has got a way to go, as I understand it, to catch up. Hey X, have you already discussed the rail strike? What are your thoughts? I haven't discussed that. I generally tend to just be sympathetic towards strikes and people trying to like fight for something better, you know? I don't really have like much of a take beyond that because I don't really know the situation particularly well, but with the rising cost of living, it wouldn't surprise me, you know, if people want to strike and demand more because it's getting tougher for a lot of people. Shorts had a big update, says Kimmy Delaney. Yeah, I imagine it will keep getting updated. I mean, TikTok will keep getting updated, right? Like, they'll keep trying to refine and make these algorithms better, but YouTube is playing catch up with TikTok, and maybe it will catch up. We'll get there. Sphinx76, thank you for 23 months. Appreciate your support. Curl says, I mean, content creators being actually paid. YouTube started understanding what they had to do when competitors came up and tried to lure the first content creators away. Now people make a living on YouTube. Even famous TikTokers can't make a living on TikTok. They need to do other things like merch sponsorship and stuff to get money from their fame. TikTok is earning billions and the CCs almost don't see anything they want from what they make from the company. Yeah, I understand their content creating is kind of different over there. They don't get paid like we do here on YouTube, but I heard they're working on that. Like I said though, even when like it's not a good workplace, it's really weird how these online spaces kind of create, you know, like people want that success so much that they'll, if someone's like, I'm not taking this, you know, I'm not getting paid, this is rubbish, and they stop, someone else will fill their boots. But I have heard that a lot of TikTokers try to move over to YouTube as well, like they want to build a presence on the YouTube platform because it's better for creators. And I was blessed to get in early. I got into the creator program when you used to have to apply and like someone would sit down and review it. There was no automation, and you had like some goals, and it was like way more I wouldn't say like hush, but more like it was so early on that like I was a creator on the platform for a while and had no idea that people were like getting paid from the ads. Whoa, this fella don't like me being here. Take that, sucker. I probably now need to cordon off the areas from which they can approach. Yeah, look at that. I think I'll just keep wrecking them. Ooh, you hit hard. Oh, wow, you hit hard. God, that got one more hit and I probably would have gone down. Just curious, X, are you playing in windowed mode or have a big mouse cursor? I'm playing in windowed mode and have a big mouse cursor. So, I was on my laptop, I was setting up my new laptop, and I noticed that it said you could scale up your pointer as well as the windows on the screen itself. So I was like, oh, and then I thought, well, rather than scale it up, I'll actually just change the icon type. I can't remember how I got to that. I think there was something wrong with scaling it, but it was just about changing the icon type, and then I did it on this PC as well, and I love it. It just, every now and then you're like looking around, it's like, where's the cursor? Oh, it's over there. And now I never have a problem finding it. So it's just, you know, simple little visual hack really. Just why spend time ever looking for the cursor on the screen? I mean, we're talking a difference of seconds, but I like it. Oh wait, that's the same message. I'm trying to pick out another message. We are listening to the music from Music Man. It's not written on the screen because I didn't have time to adjust the MP3s, but his new record Mending is out and I love it. We're listening to it right now. This will be like the 10th time I've listened to it now. Anyway, what do y'all want to talk about next? I feel like I got through the 2 topics I wanted to talk about. They were kind of linked a little bit as well. Oh, and yeah, if you've been tuning into these streams, listening to me talk about what goes on in my head and how I try and like deal with stuff, I realized that like I've been dealing with this problem where I look at how I'm adjacent to people that do similar stuff to me and think, I like that, I could do that, and then I feel like, oh, but I don't have time. And I've had to learn, hey, like, this is what I'm good at. I should be thankful for this, what I'm doing, right? I should be enjoying this. I can't do everything. Like, it doesn't make sense to think and feel that way. And since I've realized that, I catch myself doing it. So when I heard about this, like, TikTok might be the new search engine thing, I started thinking, oh, I know how all this stuff works, you know, this video description, putting in tags. Oh, I could create videos about, like, someone searches for this thing, I'll give them the answer, and then I'm like, why am I thinking like this? Like, this is not what I want to do. You know, I do not want to spend my time making searchable videos for TikTok. It's just, it's so weird, because, like, that's the impulse. To be fair, most of the time, the impulse is for something I'm really interested in. I don't know, like, science and tech and talky topics and stuff, but like that's me paying attention to how my brain works, and I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why am I feeling some sort of like momentary anxiety over like seeing this so-called opportunity? Anyway, yeah, that was just like another little bit of nonsense going on in my head. But I'm glad I figured it out, because I think it was like I was thinking about that stuff too much as of late. And if I reflect on how I've felt since figuring that out, it feels like a big difference. Hey X, any aspirations to travel overseas? And if so, where would you go and why? I do have aspirations, and I have some plans for the future as well, but first of all, I've got to get my laptop up and running so I can work remotely. And who knows, I might go on my own little trip at some point or whatever. But yeah, traveling's always that thing in the future, right? Are you into MBTI personality types? Now, I'm more into NXTCY personality types, you know. Those MBTI, they're pretty lame, those ones, dude. Come on, give it the time. Sorry for being a massive troll. I got like a message earlier that I was reading, and it was like, oh, X, you totally got to listen to the new JCI record. And I'm like, what is JCI? Search JCI, no idea. Like, abbreviations, try and use them when they're obvious. All right, like, let's say you're talking about music and you're like RHCP, right? Now, if you're a massive hip-hop fan, you know exactly who I'm talking about, the old RHCP. If you're into, like, funk metal, you're probably thinking about someone else, you know? Actually, it might, like, there isn't a hip-hop equivalent. I just thought I'd make you think for a second. But you know what I mean? It's like, if you're not really familiar with that band or never heard of them, then, like, it doesn't mean anything to you. I see it so much, because remember, like, every now and then I pull out my my comments and have a look through. I do like to read comments and stuff. I tend to not reply a lot or engage, and I like comments that are like, I like comments that people write when they're thoughtful and they're as if I'm reading them. I don't like comments when people talk as if, like, I'm not there. You know, like, sometimes it's like I read a comment, it's like, this guy doesn't even know blah blah blah, and I'm like, hey, I'm reading this, what you on about? And we're being raided. Chauncey RN, thank you so much for 6 months and the raid, greatly appreciate it. Welcome all the raiders. Apparently Elon Musk doesn't allow abbreviations at SpaceX, they're not allowed. They're not inclusive for new people at all. Yeah, yeah. I mean, imagine how it would slow down productivity just having to teach people what all the abbreviations are all the time, right? So yeah, so I get abbreviations in my comments. But I try to also, like, I use this for a little bit of a laugh right now, but I try to also think, like, the best of when someone's commenting too. Because the internet just has this way, like, words on a screen, they just have this way of sort of being interpreted in the worst way possible. Hey, X, do you have any idea why so many content creators don't want to talk about the upcoming chat reporting feature? That's another type, honestly, that is another type of, like, comment that I'm not keen on, is the subtly loaded one. It's like the implied thing that isn't evident. Like, why they don't want to talk about it. Do they? Do they not want to talk about it? Have lots of content creators been putting out messages saying, I don't want to talk about this? Like, I get what you're trying to say, but I really wish we would, like, speak clearer about these things. Because it's sort of implying something, as if they're, like, shy to talk about it. They might not even know. Like, you'd be surprised, in Hermitcraft, not a lot of people follow the updates, right? There's like a handful of us that, you know, keep an eye on it. Obviously myself, because I do snapshots and stuff. Cub Fan's another one. Doc tends to be relatively in the know of all the snapshot stuff. But, like, a lot of the hermits are like, oh, there's a new update. What's in it? You know? Everyone's been talking about it, says SKP. And that's the other side of it. Like, using the whole everybody. Like, when one person is saying, why aren't these people talking about it? And the other person is saying, everyone's talking about it. Like, it's just, oh man, these things about language, like, drive me a bit mad. And that's on me, probably, right? Some of you are like, oh, X, give it up. I'm actually amazed at how much stone we've used, because I did not think we'd use a full box worth, but here we are. Oh, I'm being a bit of a wally right now. I'm sort of thinking that the top of the room, the ice is the top of the room. Now I know that I need to run a little bit of redstone over the top of it, or around it. So really the roof, let me just think. There, one more basically. That could be the height of the roof. And this and then this box would probably, oh look at that. Just happens to be the exact right height. There'll still be like a lot of unused space, but I think let's just get a big box built so we can be inside it and be safe, you know? Right, we'll go get some more stone. X, do you have a huge back catalogue of MC stuff that could be used for searchable TikTok videos already? How to and update information without taking on too much? I'll have a look and see if you'd like. Becca, I am full of that information. I have tons of it on my channel. I just don't have the time to repurpose it. On occasion, I've tried to, like, reach out in my community and find editors and people in the know. But, like, if I could work with someone, there's so much stuff like that that I could do. You know, like, my Mythbustings videos are just, like, little treasure troves of information. And what I don't have the time to do is sit down and make TikTok videos on this stuff. But if, like, actually, you know, I probably could because they're so low effort. But it's like all the preparation to figure out, you know, what to express and stuff. You know, if I could, like, just hand off a bunch of raw footage to someone, I could probably make a whole bunch of TikToks. It requires a bit of, like, strategy and thought, I guess, because now that when I say it out loud, it becomes something a little different, right? Like, thinking your ideas out loud, all of a sudden you're like, oh, huh, I could do it like that. Whoa, bit of a hole there. Yeah, it occurs to me now that, like, there's so much low effort. Like, I'm thinking, like, you have to do a lot of prep work, but for TikTok you probably don't. You can probably just, like, walk up to a beacon and be like, or like, here are all the different sizes of beacon, and this is the ranges that they have. But actually, maybe that does have a bunch of prep work. Anyway, I am absolutely just jambling on right now. What I'm trying to get at is, like, with the help, with someone else's help, like having someone to work with, who can do all the editing and like help you plan and prep, like could totally make something like that work. But I've just struggled to like get that going. There are a couple of places where I have made it work, or collaboration work. Obviously, when I collaborate with the Puka, we get some great stuff done together. That's super awesome. And I've collaborated with editors. You know, Xisuma says, the music channel. They're not what they once were right now. They're sort of both. I mean, the music channel is essentially on hold, and the Says channel is like going into going to go through a bit of a transition. But yeah, I like long-winded point here. It's working with other people that made those projects possible. I can't edit my streams after I've done them and turn them into content. Like, it's just an insane amount of time. But if someone else wants to help with that, you know, then it's possible. Do you know if any fairly recent redstone guides that will teach about doing redstone on your own and not just following a tutorial on specific builds, says Xisuma? I like the specificity of your question, because so often you get the question of like, hey X, do you know any good redstone tutorials? And it's like, I do. You know, just go to YouTube, that website that wants to serve you up the best possible videos for the things that you search for, and, you know, search for redstone tutorials. But I see what you're saying. It's like a lot of redstone tutorials will be block by block recreations, and I think the reason you'll struggle to find content that's more about teaching you how to redstone as opposed to how to just build a contraption is that there's probably a lot of like concepts, ideas that are sort of tricky to put in a place where they would thrive on YouTube. Like, you'd have to be really smart to break apart the components of redstone and then teach it in a way that's engaging, but also your viewer then goes and uses it really effectively. I think learning redstone relies a lot more on trial and error. Like, you have to get in there and kind of really learn by doing. Obviously, you can pick up a ton of concepts and help in other ways, but yeah, you really kind of got to get stuck in. So I don't know, but I know what you're asking for, and you know, something like a stream. If I were, like, I did a redstone stream recently. If I were to just run over some basics and talk about how redstoning works, I can definitely think of some concepts that would be helpful. But like, how would you package them up? Because people won't search for something like this. They won't search for managing signals in redstone, or like signal flow. Like, that's not a concept that someone understands who's a newbie to redstone, yet it's an essential part. Like, if we were to look at signal right here, we have a clock, right? And we have to use different parts of the signal to create the events that we want. So it's really convenient here that when this turns off, it creates a pulse, right, for the torch. But I need that pulse to actually be longer, which is why there's extra repeaters here. So if I break that bit of redstone, that over there doesn't work properly. It needs a longer signal. Likewise, we only need a very short signal here, and it happens to be this comparator turning off and back on that gives you 2 pulses, which is why you need the repeaters set on 4 settings. Like, understanding signal management, like, you know, how you will need different lengths of signal and you need them to turn on and off, is a component of redstone. But it's like a concept that isn't very searchable, or like, you know, if you're new to it, you're not going to think that's what you need to know. So Actual Genius says, watch some of Ilmango's videos if you're looking for basic mechanics and advanced topics. You see, I wouldn't have thought of Ilmango as an example of how to learn redstone, because all you see in Ilmango's videos is like the high-end stuff constantly. And he's talking about ticks, and it's like, what? If you don't know, I mean, I know what ticks are, and I watch it and I'm just like, I can't keep up with this. It's too much. You know, this person was asking for like they were literally asking, how do I like learn redstone that isn't someone just showing me where to put the blocks, right? And that's like a hard thing to search for and a hard thing to teach. When thinking of redstone, I usually compare it to coding. You need to learn so much about it to look at code redstone to make any sense. If you're a coder, you're naturally going to see like parallels between coding and redstone. If you're more of a puzzle player like I am, I see redstone as a puzzle that needs to be solved. Coding might be the superior way to do it, you know. Oh, we did actually go a fair bit higher. Over there, at least. This roof doesn't need to be slabs, but it will stop things spawning on it. And I guess it will also save us some blocks. But yeah, so let's say like we were trying to crack the YouTube search engine with like how to learn redstone. Like to broadly teach something like redstone to just a range of different people that are going to come in and try and learn, that's a really like, I feel like that's a great example of where something like YouTube might fall short in the face of having a classroom with a teacher that can interact with the students and understand their specific needs. Which is possibly why you don't see videos like that, but I haven't really searched for them, so. Can't beat Logical Geek Boys dissecting Minecraft series with methods to learn all of that stuff. Oh, I didn't know they did a series together. That sounds cool. I'm subscribed to both of them, and I've never seen that. I'm pretty sure. Hey chat, what has been spoiled so far, says Merculator. Oh, and just a minute ago I was waffling about how I can't stand comments that are talking as if I'm not there. Just asking chat. Yeah, I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. Everything is a spoiler, that's the point. Like, this whole project is a big spoiler. Redstone with B-dubs might actually be a good way to learn, says Taubar. You never know, you never know. B-dubs has shown he's got some redstone skills too. Yeah, but like, can you communicate that? That's the skill, isn't it? Communication of it. I'm looking to take a redstone class in college. Is that a real thing? Is that a real thing? Right, gotta keep putting down the slabs. I could totally see a beginner's guide to redstone series, says Dr. Anvil. I mean, there probably are some out there, right? There probably definitely are some. One could set up a Minecraft world where the viewer... Oh, there's quite a few messages over here. School of Redstone would be cool, like a low barrier education, how to learn the logic. That would be amazing. I'd totally watch that. A pedagogically structured path for walking a player from total noob to redstone. Yeah, that's the thing, though. I feel like everyone's path would be different, but there are definitely, you know, and the other thing is with those sorts of videos is like, do you start by explaining like the mechanics of every block, like a redstone torch, redstone dust, how it works on different types of blocks, or do you go straight into concepts? Because some people need to know how a redstone torch works, and some people are there for the concepts because they understand the basics. Oh wow! Thank you for the link, Becca. Some of Mumbo's older videos are quite good. He had videos where he explained the comparator works or some useful basic component contraptions that are quite useful. Yes, I remember Mumbo's older redstone videos were much more about the redstone, and now I feel like he's more of an entertainer who's playing around with the redstone, you know? Curl says one could set up a Minecraft world where the viewer watches one video and then goes into the world to a contraption to apply the knowledge learned. That's a great idea. That is a good idea. Or it could be like a server, and then you could have like a redstone community there. These are, again, like, now we're getting into the ideas space that makes my mind like, this is what like has bothered me a lot when we discuss things like this, or they pop into my mind, is that I could do all of this. I understand what it would take, sitting down, thinking it through, writing up plans, trying things out, thinking through the explanations, how to produce the video, how to put it out there, SEO, like, and then, like, my mind thinks of it as like a lost opportunity. But now I look at it like, this is not what I'm doing with my time. I have these other commitments and I'm going to enjoy them. Right? I mean, you only get to do so many things with your time, and if you're doing things that you enjoy, then don't get hung up on other things that you might enjoy as well. Got to manage that. Creepy noise. Creepy noise in the Nether. And it's Matsubu here for 42 months. Thank you, my dude. Also, Milky Boy. Thank you for using that Amazon Prime on me. Appreciate it, my dude. Peeps, if you did not know, you can use Amazon Prime to subscribe. But it doesn't automatically resubscribe because Amazon... Oh, Amazon. So stingy. God. Poor Jeff Bezos. He's not a trillionaire yet. Oh, poor Jeffy. How does he sleep at night? Come on, let's take a moment to pray for all the billionaires out there that ain't trillionaires yet. Come on. Think of their woes. Ah! Monate, thank you so much for the Prime. Appreciate it. There you go. Using up that Prime. Don't let old Jeff have it. He's got enough. Oh. We've got a ghosty block. And don't sub from your phone. Charges more and creators get none of the extra. I did not know that subbing from your phone would incur extra costs. That sounds really odd because, like, aren't we past the days of, like, international calls and stuff, right? Like, it's all just data over your network, over your Wi-Fi. Like, why would it, like, identify you're a mobile user and charge you more? It seems a bit weird, that. Hey, Squigs, thank you so much for the Prime. Appreciate it, my dude. Thank you. Apple and Google want a cut. Oh, yeah, because it will go through the store. Fascinating. Yeah, okay, there you go. Timoa Viking, also with the Prime. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wanted to make a joke about Jeff's tears. But my brain was too slow on that one. You pay 3 times for AOL dial-up, probably. Parts of America is still on AOL dial-up, right? Like, America's internet infrastructure is kind of a nightmare, as I hear it. As I understand it, I think there's like lots of contracts that mean certain areas or like providers get to just like be in an area, and there's like not competition. So there's like not a lot of I don't know, not a lot of good service because they sort of like have a designation or something like that. Like, I remember someone telling me that like they couldn't get good internet, like they had just basic DSL, yet down the road, like literally just down the road, there was fiber internet, but because of some laws and contracts, it just meant that that company wasn't allowed to operate over here or something like that. Crazy. Congolfian, thank you ever so much for the Prime, and Halicon, or Halicon, jeez, City Games, thank you for Prime, appreciate it ever so much. Totally butchered your name, I know, I'm terrible. So yeah, so there's that, right? And then here in the UK, I feel like our internet's really good. I upgraded my internet to fiber, doubled the speed. So I got 1,000 down, 100 up. Although the 100 up's like sort of coming soon. It'll get there soon. And it costs me less. Like they keep upgrading and the prices keep getting cheaper. And although I was like, you know, they're obviously not going to ring you up and tell you we cannot give you cheaper internet. But since I've been with Virgin Business, I've done it a couple of times. I've gone and checked. And then I've been like, oh, there's like faster availability now. And I ring up and I get the new contract, and it's often cheaper as well. The price keeps going down, the speeds keep going up. Which is pretty good. Ace Squig says to prevent... so JPS says it's usually monopolized, and Ace Squig says to prevent monopoly. Yeah, you see, that's what's weird about it. Like, I don't fully understand it, but this whole idea of, like, companies are only allowed to operate in particular spaces, right? Like, you say that's to prevent a monopoly, but then the monopoly that they have is that when they're the only provider in an area and people, like, it's an essential service, they don't really have to provide a good service, and they can kind of charge a lot, right? So it's like another type of monopoly. Like a monopoly of no competition, basically. It was ages ago I heard about how it works, like years, but I don't know if it's still the same, but it just sounded like mad. It's like, whenever this law or legislation was created, like, some people who didn't understand the internet were involved, it seems. What are we spoiling today, chat? Says Trow. Oh, just talk to... I'll let chat answer your Trow. You know, I'm not here to read your messages, obviously. You just want to talk with the chat people. That's fine, that's fine. You talk with them. Okay, don't actually sort of really want to rip open this area yet. If you look at the way I'm operating, this this roof thing is going to come level with it all. Listen to that guitar jam. Damn, that's so smooth. So fresh and so clean. Capitalism gone wrong right there. More competition is healthy, says Rosie. I don't want to go down a whole isms argument, but like capitalism, I don't know actually what I'm going to say. It's just like when a company is like, I don't know, there's legislation that says like you're delivering to this area and they're delivering to this area. That doesn't even like sound anywhere near capitalism to me. That sounds more like organized. Whatever you want to call that, right? But let's not get into the whole isms and ists. Let's just be people. Curls, what was it we were talking about a while back about how this guy's going around doing these studies, right? And finding that like people's values that they like when you don't I'm probably gonna like rearrange what the point of what this person was saying, but like when we talk about like values and they're not boxed into the hot topics and the left versus right, like things like politeness, decency towards one another, and just wanting to be happy and spend time with family, like all of these, like the things that we really care about are just, we're all so similar to one another. It's like the political stuff just seems so divisive. I like to think of that a lot. I like to think, you know, hey, maybe I lean in this direction, and someone who leans in another direction. It's so easy to like buy into all those hot talking points, but maybe the things that matter more are not the hot topic of the day that's political. Maybe it's like more important to just think about how we treat one another as human beings, and how we get along and enjoy one another's company and whatnot. And yeah, the political stuff just drives me mad. One of the things I dislike most about politics, especially online, is seeing people openly argue. I mean, this is what Twitter is like. It's like going outside and shouting, all of those people over there are wrong because of blah 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 blah. They're so illogical. It's like that, right? Next time you see it, right, even if you agree with a general point, or you know that person's on your air quotes team, there are just these like shouts from the void of like, the problem with this lot is blah 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 blah, and it's like people are like arguing with the worst possible version of an imaginary opponent of theirs. It's like, it's not about people face to face in real life doing things together. If there's a car crash, right, if you're in a car crash and someone rushes over to your help, you're not going to be like, no, 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 you're a Democrat. No, 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 next person. You know, or no, 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 you're a Republican. No, 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 you can't help me. No, no, no. Like, that stuff don't matter. And it just feels to me like a lot of like what really matters in life, how we treat one another and how we are as people together. It just feels like these topics are so divisive, like they divide us when we have so much commonality that we can't see. People arguing against someone by themselves don't understand and therefore won't make progress against them, says Discounted Officer. Yeah, that is a really smart statement. I thought it was Tory versus Labour. Well, America seems to have like the big political left v right thing, kind of like I don't know, it's almost like a culture war if you're looking at it from the outside. Here in the UK, like Labour versus Tory isn't like a big cultural divide. I never really see it. Maybe I'm not looking in the right places. I'm not on Facebook, you know. But like, it's not really a big thing over here, it feels like. I don't see a lot of that kind of bickering between parties or whatever. But yeah, about that statement about like, yeah, arguing against someone who isn't there, you're not going to learn from them. And that's the thing, it's like, when you see those sorts of arguments and takes, it's like you're, like, those people are just falling into the trap of like, trying to make the worst possible argument out of someone else's position. It's like, it's not going to get you absolutely anywhere. You're not going to learn anything. William Payne, 23, thank you for the Prime. Man with 2 life. Oh gosh, I wish I had 2 lives. Oh, there's an amazing Confucius quote, right? Everybody, I'm totally gonna butcher old Confucius. Sorry, Confucius, mate. I'm gonna remix it a little bit. Everybody's got 2 lives, yeah? You got 2 lives, I'm telling you. Right now, you and me, we both got 2 lives. But the second life, the second life begins when you realise you've only got 1. Love that, that's great. That's great. And now to butcher it by telling you what I think it means. To me, it makes me think of like my previous ignorances and being young and feeling like you're immortal, and to me it speaks to like the maturity that you have to go through, like when you grow up, when you have to grow up, and then you look back at what you previously did with your time and it feels like, I don't know, like maybe like a lot of it was wasted or just pointless, but like when you've gone through that like stage of maturity and then you become more intentional as a person, that's what it says to me. It could mean something completely different, who knows. People like that quote, that's good. That's good. What does anyone else think it means? And then I'll read Curls' paragraphs. I'll read them in a minute. Could it also mean you only realise you only have 1 life, so live it to the fullest? Yeah, I think with a lot of things like that, like if you find your own meaning in it and it's insightful, then surely that's like a great thing. Like I think whatever Confucius was thinking at the time, and he was probably thinking, you know, one day some chappie will be streaming in a game of blocks on a computer. What's a computer, by the way? Why am I thinking that he'll be doing that on a computer? And he'll be talking to loads of people over the internet. What's the internet? God, Confucius, how did you know about the internet? No one knows. Anyway, like, but I think like if you make a quote where you're baking in some sort of wisdom, even if like someone doesn't find the exact same thing you think, I think the fact that it will trigger thoughts and get someone thinking and come up with their own wisdom is just as good, you know? Killing time is killing your life, says Energy. Yeah, I hate the term killing time, and if ever I find myself saying that, it seriously gives me alarm. I'm like, right, this is time that I'm killing? What does that mean? To me, it means when you acquire maturity, when you discover yourself and start to properly love yourself and live your own life according to you, says Creations. Interesting, yeah, you too find it has something to do with maturity. That's interesting. Confucius was thinking YOLO! Ah! Oh, that's great. That's great. X, any thoughts about how weird American voting, even from an outsider perspective? Our winners rarely win, and honestly, I don't understand it still. To me, the American voting system looks a lot like our voting system, and probably many voting systems. That the daily business of our overall, the way our society is structured, and the people it benefits the most, it keeps that wheel ticking over, right? And a lot of the left-right divide, Tory Labour, it's very like symbolic. It just feels like society's not going to massively change depending on who you vote in. That's not where the real strings of power are, if you like. And so the voting systems tend to reflect that lack of change, and that things are slow to change, if there is any change, you know. I don't quite look at it like you could say it's rigged or not, or whatever. I don't know. Y'all talking about maturity while I sit here messing with Play-Doh. Hey dude, if you like creating things with Play-Doh, you do you. Like I like Connects and Lego. You know, it's not something I go bust out of the box, but if I'm, I don't know, and my parents and kids are around, and play with some Lego, create some things. You do you. Like if you like, I bet you could make it. I bet you could go on YouTube, right? And you could just find that there are some people out there just making like mind-blowing stuff with Play-Doh, right? I don't know, like optical illusion sculptures and paintings and stuff. Like, you know, if you like it, be you and do that. Right, let's read some of Curls' novel. Collective Illusions by Todd Rose. He and his research is looking at how people think, what kind of values are important in a society, and what their actual values are. So the questions are, what do people think is important, and what their actual values are. Like people think fame and being rich is important as a status symbol, so they strive for it, even if they don't actually want that or share that value at all. We keep getting tricked what we think society wants without the individual members that make that society actually sharing that. So we have the illusion we are separated and we don't have things in common, when actually we do. Fascinating, that right there. Like, some people often refer to me as being famous, which I don't like. I've also, like, never sought out fame personally. But, like, a question for all of y'all. How many of y'all have an ambition to be famous? Or is that something that you strive for? It's more like the Mother Teresa quote. People will disappoint, love them anyway. It goes on several lines. I like that quote, yeah. So we got lots of no's and hard passes. Occasionally, a little bit of fame. I just want to be happy, says Kimmy. I mean, that is literally it. That is literally what everyone wants, just to be happy. Maybe people who think they want fame think that's where the happiness is as well, you know. Artemis says, don't like attention, so nah. I know exactly what you mean, my dude. I've never liked being the centre of attention. And I am not saying that to be sarky. That's just what I'm like. It's very different when you're in this space, doing your own thing and sharing it with people who are not... Like, I'm not on a stage, you know? But in some ways I am. It's really strange. It's a really strange contradiction. So a lot of you saying you don't want to, that's great. I do want to find someone who does in chat, but It's one of the, I know there are people like out there that will, but it doesn't surprise me that maybe we're not going to find them here, because I'm the kind of things I'm interested in and talk about don't really have a lot to do with that kind of culture. I can hear some grunty pigmen about the place. Grunting away. People think being famous is something to strive for and reach out and get burned out for, when no one actually cares about it. We are all falling for illusions that don't exist. It comes from the evolutionary need to belong to a group. To be able to belong to that group, we think what others want and comply to that illusion. We make up what the group wants, losing what is actually more important to us. I'm currently reading the book. It's absolutely fascinating and totally eye-opening towards the current societal problems we have and how they are crafted and magnified by the collective illusions we make up. And of course, how the internet and social media are blowing these illusions out of proportion. Sorry for the paragraphs, difficult to bring in nuance in a short message. Girls, I appreciate the paragraphs. I was only having a little bit of fun, a little bit of a joke. I see an opportunity for a joke, I'm going to take it. You don't stream for attention, X. You stream to entertain people who enjoy your type of content you provide. Some other streamers stream for attention, and you can always tell. Ah, very insightful. Yeah. Yeah, that's I could definitely understand that. My brain's trying to scramble for if I've ever tuned into a stream and got a sense of that. But I'm very like non-judgy as well, so I tend to not. If I catch my brain thinking thoughts like that, I tend to shut them off. Like, oh, like we've done lots of raids, and sometimes I raid someone and like they'll present themselves maybe with a bit of an attitude, but as soon as my brain starts like trying to dissect anything, I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Like, this is just a momentary impression of them, so like, don't go down that path, brain, because it's pretty darn pointless. But yeah, you it's really weird. Like, you're making me think now. Like, I don't do this for attention. What do I do it for then, right? It's easy to say the experience, but then what is the experience? Well, I play a game I like, create things in it. You know, sometimes you're doing grindy stuff, but it's all to serve a bigger picture, right? And then what does all this waffling mean all the time? I don't like. It's yeah, it's definitely not for attention. I think it's really just like my mind just is quite busy with like trying to understand the world and think about stuff, and then you get like a moment, a place to just let that steam off. That's what I think it is. That's what I think's going on here. Being famous is intimidating, says Semi-Famous. Interesting username. It's funny you say that because, yeah, I often, like... I say often, that's not right. When do I do this? On occasion, I get dragged into some sort of thought of, like, meeting someone I know. Or something triggers the mind into, like, what if I bumped into this famous person or whatever? And there's always like this aura of intimidation, but like, you know, they're just a normal person, right? And like, why do you still think like that? I'm not sure if that's quite what you meant, but that's something I often think. It's like you treat them differently. This is exactly why I've never like gone and done meetups or like reveal my face and stuff. Is like, this is just the flip side of it. It's like I see how I would think differently about someone famous. Like, let's just say Elon Musk, right? Now, anyone can walk into this room right now because I left the door open. There's a big sign downstairs saying, please come in. I'm streaming. Anyone could walk into this room right now, you know? And like, if that's just someone, you're like, oh, hello, hi. And then if it's someone famous that you've seen on the telly, you think, you talk, everything's different, right? Why is that? Why is it that way? But then that's the reverse. I totally fine with meeting people and, you know, talking, hello, whatever, like, you know, having a conversation, but not as this guy here, like doing a stream, right? It's like the flip side of that. I just hate to be like the center of attention in any way. It's like if I did a meetup or something, I know people will be crowding around wanting to talk to who they think is me, this like guy doing the stream or whatever, but like I totally just wouldn't want to be on the flip side of that. Oh! No! Naughty! This could end badly. Oh, it really could. It really could. Go down here. Okay, now... Oh! Now I think I'll be okay. Oh, he's going to jump me. He's going to jump me. Oh, God, I'm such a pro. Oh. Man with 2 lives says, do you know how some of the large sub-count hermits approach it? Yeah, so a lot of the other hermits have done the whole meeting up and having swarms of people around them, and you know, like they've got their way of handling it. I haven't ever really asked because I'm not particularly curious, but you know, like everyone's their own person, and you end up being who you are for whatever things you go through in your life. You know, maybe if I'd have gone through different things in my life, I would have felt differently about it, but I didn't, and that's fine. But yeah, I just don't feel that way. Right, yeah, it's getting to like a bit of an awkward stage where we've got to pack away the old thing and get this new thing here going. And probably create an entrance to it from this tunnel as well. I think I'd say, hey up mate, if I saw a celeb, as I feel though they have always obsessed, so fans would enjoy a different interaction. I'm not sure I'm understanding your message. I stopped performing as a musician for this reason. That was a long time ago though. It is another reason that I like to ensemble performance better than solo performance. I just want to sing, says Seesaw for it. Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. It's like you're not there to like be the center of attention. You want to do your thing. Totally get that. A lot of people are intimidated by famous people because a lot of famous people seem to be better or more special than others because they're famous and successful, but they are really normal people who got lucky or did a good job. Yeah, I mean, some people are famous because they're exceptional at something, right? Like, I get what you're saying, but I do think there is a component of like the reason, I mean, depends what you think of when you think famous person. Like, are you thinking... I think actors are probably a very... Oh, dang it, I forgot to make slabs. A very interesting one, as I think acting's like a really quite incredible social skill. Like, it's easy to think of acting as sort of like in a box, but it's an incredibly social thing to be able to like as an actor or an actress, you portray so much like emotion and story to people. Like, that's quite an incredible thing to do. So it creates quite the impression on people, I guess, that you have like exceptional skills or something. But like, I think like the people that I would say that are famous is to me, like I would think of people like what's his name, Roger Penrose, or like some famous physicists, you know, Stephen Hawking's a well-known one. I'd think of people of those, I would put them in the famous category, right? I'm not sure if other people would. And to me, it's more like remarkable human, right? But then there are like celebrities and stuff who get famous for doing air quotes nothing, as people like to say. You know? A9 says, I'd like to talk to them like my friend, not like they're some famous person. It may be a bit parasocial, but I feel like the celeb would feel more comfortable being treated by "I up mate" than the usual "oh my god I love you" response I assume they get when most people recognise them in public. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. I'm not thinking about like interacting with someone famous as like being like, oh my god, but like I feel like you'd have a little bit of that excitement in you. And you'd have to like remind yourself, no, just a normal person. It's a very interesting topic, to say the least. There's probably a lot that could be said on it, but I haven't ever really thought that deeply on it. I'm just waffling and we're learning things as I waffle. Ah, this means my roof is kind of like, yeah, bigger than well, it's not big enough for the contraption, but I think that's fine. This stuff will probably end up getting hidden. There's also like already kind of a bit of a box around that area anyway, so I think what I'm going to do now is get back over to this space and try and get this bit of the roof over here done. The thing with actors is when you're in that kind of area too, is you treat others more like colleagues than anything else, which is how I felt a lot when I did musicals. Often I was just annoyed that they didn't take the energy to learn the scripts. Bop to the top, because you know someone doesn't mean you're entitled to their life. Oh, absolutely, yeah. For me, I just find it interesting how like the idea of socializing with someone that you know, not directly but indirectly, i.e. they're famous, or perhaps they're great at doing something in a field you're interested. Like maybe they're famous to you, if you like, and maybe we're not even talking about fame. You sort of know them without, you know something about them without knowing them. And that to me, like, I can't really think. Actually, there's been musicians that I've talked to at shows, and now that I think about it, where like I really like their music and stuff, but you know, I go buy a shirt. Oh, great show! Really loved your album. Have that kind of conversation with. I've had a couple of those over the years. And now that I think about it, they were just pretty darn normal. Like, obviously, you like their music, but then it's like, it's not like I know them as a person, right? I don't know. Let's get a new topic going. X, I was wondering, where did the subtitles for in-game sound go? They didn't go anywhere. They're only on my snapshot videos. That's just the setup for that type of video. I put them in. I kind of need to get rid of all of this as well as we go around. Oh, actually, I could technically leave it there, but yeah, we'll get rid of some of this too. Standing on that ice actually might help. Oh no! Don't break the ice though! Oh, you Wally, you absolute goose. Oh. What are you listening today? I've pretty much been listening to Malcolm's music, Music Man, as of late. Well, the last few days since Sunday. Been all over this new record. A real icebreaker over here, yep. We're breaking the ice. Dang, right, I need to pick up that ice, because can't be having that despawn. How'd you feel about giraffes? I ain't got a joke for you. I'm not that good. Thick Maya, thank you very much. Hey X, what do you think about the North-South divide UK? I'm aware there's a bit of like a banterish divide, right? But there isn't really a divide north and south, is there? I don't know. These are things I don't take seriously or pay attention to. I mean, we're all just people. If it weren't north or south, it would be this country versus that country. If we ain't got countries, it's continents, you know? Dang, some absolute grunting going on over here. Anyway, I got that bit of ice. Just got to keep putting in this ceiling, I guess. The state of Jefferson in the UK, in the US, lol. The state of is Jefferson a state? I don't think. I've never heard of a state called Jefferson. And I know a fair few states, okay? There's that one with the Ippy and the one with the Ota. Like the car, right? Media is good at magnifying collective illusions and separation. It's always worth to take that with a whole fist of salt. Yeah, that book sounds so interesting. Like, I get the concept, but it sounds like it's something you really need to like read into to get like a much better picture of like how the illusions are or where they are. I mean, you got to remember, the sort of media that I consume, I feel like it might be a bit abstract from what they'll talk about in that book, because I do not take in any kind of like cable news network sort of stuff, unless it's like in the abstract or hearing people comment on it, you know. My information tends to be mostly from like the educational space. And I listen to like podcasts with people who talk about, you know, amazing things that they're doing. Not a lot of drama or anything like that. Don't listen to drama podcasts about who did what on the internet now. Delara, you've been gifted a sub by Anonymous. Anonymous, thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate it. Do you have podcast Rex? Says Cura Minute. Yeah, they're on my second channel. They're these live stream VODs. That's pretty much my equivalent of a podcast, right? That's it right there. Do we have more messages from our mods? Oh, we do. They were getting cropped. Alright. Factfulness. Yeah, I love that book. That book changed my mind. After Curls, if you've read Factfulness, follow it up with Steven Pinker's what's it called? He's got a great book that I read after Factfulness, and it just felt like a great next step to deeper understand something like that. I think it's like the something to do with enlightenment is the title of the book. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up right here. I really enjoyed hanging out with all y'all today, but you know, I do these things for about 2 hours, and I got to crack on. We're getting ready for bed and stuff. And yeah, we got to do a raid. That's what we do at the end of these streams, right? I'm going to go pick a random Minecraft channel for us to raid. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. I appreciate all your support. Thank you to the Patreons, the mods, the people, gifting, the subs. Y'all are appreciated. And I don't know when I'm going to stream again next, because Minecraft 1.19 might be out tomorrow. And if it isn't, I might stream again. I don't know. It's all up in the air. Right, going to send you over to someone called Polypuff, because I'm picking out a random channel, right? And that is where the stream will end the day. Thank you, everyone. Hit the follow button, hit the raid button, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.